Hi, folks. This is Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling, and I'm coming at you from my new studio. I told you I'd be making more videos, and this is one of those. I'm going to be talking today about thriving after going through narcissistic abuse, and I'm working out my thriving journey with fear and trembling and with joy and confidence here by the beach. I'm going to share with you 4 poems, and I've shared these poems with y'all before. And it seems like when I share videos with poems that there's not as much people that watch it. People would rather hear about the evilness of the narcissist than sit around and listen to poems by an old fart like me. But this is good stuff, folks. I'm giving you the good stuff today. So, poetry isn't just a bunch of pretty words. Poetry is wisdom, and it's dancing with words, and it'll change your life. And I just encourage you to soak it in. Thriving. I'm talking about thriving. My brother in the 12-step movement, they have a saying: progress, not perfection. And I don't want anybody out there to feel like I'm down here just wallowing in joy and sunshine and roses and unicorns. I'm not. It's progress. It's not perfection. Last night, my wife Renda and we've made some friends, and we went out to dinner, and we went down on a long pier, and there was a band playing, and during a break, I got triggered by some music that reminded me of my former fiance, and I felt like I was going to throw up. So Renda grabbed me and said, "Let's go take a walk, honey." And we walked down the pier so I couldn't hear the music, and I sat down and I cried. And she rubbed my head and she wiped tears out my eye, and I was better. So, you know, it's progress, it's not perfection. But I want you to listen to these poems, and I'm going to comment on them as I go. The first one is called The Journey by the amazing poet Mary Oliver. One day you finally knew what you had to do, and you began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. "Mend my life," each voice cried, but you didn't stop. When when you when you determine to thrive, you're going to make a commitment to yourself. And a lot of people may not be used to you putting yourself first in a healthy way, and you might take some criticism for it. For me, it was hard to leave Carmel, Indiana, where I'd been doing face-to-face therapy with people really since 1987, and there wasn't a whole onslaught of unhappiness about it, but there was a lot of people that would prefer that I stay and work with them in that way. I'm going to read on with the poem. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though its melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough and a wild night, and the road was full of fallen branches and stones. So when you know what you got to do, the wind may pick up, and it may, really shake you to your very foundations. And the road is going to be full of fallen branches and stones. Uh, when Renda and I decided to move down here and sell a home and buy a home and um, uh, deal with our PTSD and deal with financial matters and run a practice from here, that's in Indiana. The road was full of fallen branches and stones. Whatever you do, thriving isn't going to be handed to you. You're going to have to work your ass off. All right, back to the poem. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice. There was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as being your own, and it kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, and determined to save the only life you could save. So what's the poet saying here? She's saying you need to develop a voice, a new voice that comes from a new self. That's where a new voice comes. It comes from having a new sense of self. And it'll keep you company. And you'll get to stride deeper and deeper into your new world. We're getting settled here, and every day I feel more comfortable. Every day it feels more like home. I had a basketball goal assembled in my driveway last week, and makes me feel like Indiana. I stand out there and shoot free throws all day long. Well, I can't shoot them all day long because it's hot here right now. But there's only one life that you can save, and that is you got to be true to yourself. A quote from Hamlet by a fellow named William Shakespeare: "To thine own self be true. To thine own self be true." All right, now we're going to get into the second poem, also by the wonderful poet Mary Oliver, and it's Wild Geese. I was talking with a country fella from Texas last week, and he's got a lot of inner shame, and I thought he'd get a kick out of a poem about geese. So here's how, and I read this poem to a lot of my clients because it's all about healing your shame. It starts out, you don't have to be good. You don't have to be good. Did y'all know that? You don't have to be good. You don't have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. What's the poet saying? Quit beating yourself up and go do stuff you love. Whatever it is. It could be, for me, it's playing basketball and riding motorcycles and being at the beach and being with my wife, being with my dog, being with my kids. But you just do what you like. Hey, for me, it's watching the Dallas Cowboys. I'm getting pretty excited about the season that's coming up. So don't spend your life trying to be good. Spend your life figuring out who you are, and then go to dancing. Go to celebrating. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees and the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. and it calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. I'm going to go to crying here in a little bit. That's beautiful. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. Imagine some good stuff. You know what I did? When I was knee deep in financial pain and uh, narcissistic abuse by proxy and PTSD, I imagined buying a house by the beach and getting up in the morning and just having a schedule where I didn't have to jump in a vehicle and go, go to work. And you know what? It's like way better than I could have imagined. The house is nicer. The neighborhood is better. We got swans in our neighborhood hanging out in the water. So imagine some good stuff. It ain't gonna happen till you imagine it. You got to picture it in your mind and then make it happen. The world offers itself to your imagination and calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. That's beautiful. All right, now we're going to go to another beautiful poem by a cat named Walcott. Love after love. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, have something to eat." You will love again. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. I'm going to read it again. The time will come when, with elation, you greet yourself, arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome, and you'll say, "Sit, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Many of us have gotten alienated from our very selves, and recovery is about learning how to love that cat again. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself. To the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, for some damn narcissist who didn't deserve to be loved with your love, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photograph, the desperate notes. Peel your image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Last night was my 40th high school reunion, and that was back in Kokomo, Indiana, and I declined to go. I really wanted to, but I feel like I need to be home here by the beach. But I did get to participate in a lot of Facebook interaction, and I saw a lot of photographs of the past. There was one, we just won the high school sectional in Kokomo for the 50th time, and we were all standing there going like this. I was taking the photographs down, and I was feasting on my life a little bit, and I've just been touched by the memories and still by the relationships with those wonderful people from the graduating class of Kokomo Wildcat High School from 1977. But y'all have good things in your life. You just got to meditate on them and take them in. My house is filled with pictures. I got more pictures than any man I know of my kids, of my life, my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters. Uh, and I just walk around and look around and see the pictures. There's this one I'm looking at right now. I've got my middle daughter sitting between my legs and my son on one hand and my middle daughter on the other. And it's just one of the most beautiful pictures. All right, now I'm going to leave the professional poets and we're going to talk about a poem called A Promise of a New Home. So I wrote this poem before I had this home. It was just a vision. It wasn't something that had happened yet. And we were home, and I was down by the Sugar Creek, down in Broad Ripple in Indianapolis by the Art Center, one of my favorite places. I've written much of my stuff down there, but it's Promise of a New Home. Yesterday, I laid down in a bed of clover by the sacred river, blanketed by deep peace and sweet slumber. When I came back, as if from the dead, to the living world, I noticed a boy paddling mightily, trying to make his way upstream. Yesterday, I laid down in a bed of clover by the sacred river, blanketed by deep peace and sweet slumber. This boy was a stout lad, and no matter how hard he thrashed about, his heavily weighted canoe drifted ever backwards and away from the safety of home. When the edge of my dreams gave way to murky consciousness, I saw this boy, giving up on his paddling efforts, pick up the canoe with great frustration and clumsiness, but then meekly resign himself to dragging his cursed vessel in the rocks behind him, defeated. Yesterday I lay down in a bed of clover by the sacred river, blanketed by deep sleep and sweet slumber. When the haze and grogginess of sleep gave way to clarity, I noticed that the boy had relaunched his wieldy, dusty vessel upstream, finding blessed momentum and the promise of home in the deep waters. I find myself vigorously paddling upstream, often, quite often, to little avail, in angry fumblings, unable to acquire a solid grip on the circumstances of my life, but ultimately always relaunching out into the world, finding courage and Godspeed and the promise of a real, true home in the deeper waters. So that's what I encourage y'all to do is imagine a new home. It doesn't have to be a moving away home. You can stay in the same house. But just imagine a new life. Doesn't have to be with a new partner. You want to get away from a narcissistic partner. But reinvent yourself. Take up new hobbies. Lose some weight. I've lost 6 pounds. When I was doing all this traveling back and forth, I got back on those darn carbohydrates, and now I'm focused and I'm exercising and I'm staying away from the carbs, and the weight's just coming off. So I just wish y'all blessing. I know you've been through so much, And there's no quick way to thriving. You can't buy a program where you can sit and be healed by listening to a program and meditating in a matter of weeks. That ain't gonna happen. What has it been now? April, May, June, July. It's been almost 29 months, 28 and a half months since my shattering, and I still get triggers like I did last night. But I got a new life. I planted a hibiscus tree from my old house that was just in a pot, and it wasn't doing very good. And now I can see it. I'm looking at it right now. Almost every day, it's covered with 2 or 3 or 4 orange blossoms, and it's beautiful. And there's woods back there. I just wish you blessing. But where does it come from? It comes from developing a solid sense of yourself. It comes from stop rescuing other people. It comes from falling in love with that person that you done forgot, who's been with you all your life. You remembering you and falling in love with you. That is not narcissism. That is not unchristian. That's being healthy. God wants you to love yourself. And then you do it by imagining a new life and then having the courage to take some risks and make some stuff happen. But I wish all of you healing. It is possible. I'm telling you, I get better every day. I get better every month. And there's setbacks down here. It's progress. It's not perfection. I sometimes get stressed and isolate, and then my wife feels ignored, and we gotta talk it through. Be authentic. But I tell you what, your narcissistic abuse can be the best thing that ever happened to you. You can turn something that was meant for bad and turn it into a growth spurt that can cause you to, be happier than you've ever been. I'm telling you the truth. So that's all I had to say. Thank you for watching. If you haven't joined our YouTube channel, I encourage you to join up. We're almost up to 21,000. And also, I've got some books now to sell, downloadable books you can put on your devices, and a book on abandonment, one on healing narcissistic abuse, one on shame. So also every Tuesday night we have church for the narcissistically abused on our channel. You subscribe, you'll be notified at 8 o'clock. And so usually there's 55 people that gather together and just support each other and love on each other and give each other good feedback. So you're welcome to join us. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day today, and God bless you.